Welcome to another edition of Just My Opinion podcast. It's your host and your moderator. We got a jam-packed episode. Before I begin today's episode, I want to put a lot of disclaimers before we begin what we're going to be talking about. One, to my subscribers, my day one subscribers, my supporters, I really do apologize for coming from the bottom of my heart. I was unable to do a Just My Opinion episode. Normally, I upload these things on Tuesday. I was just sort of busy, so I do apologize for that. Two, what I'm about to address is just a response, a reply. So anybody that's subscribed to Ball Facts YouTube channel, this is just a reply. I'm not attacking the man personally. Content provider to content provider. It's just I want to if you want to say it's an attack, I really want to rebuttal his argument. So do not take this the wrong way, okay? To all the haters of Ball Facts, the trolls and the haters who happen to find this video and want to comment in the comment section and tell me this, that, and the third about Ball Facts, how he's wrong on so many different occasions. This, unfortunately, is not the video for you. All right? You can sit back, you can listen. If you want to comment about the subject at hand, go right ahead. But as far as attacking Ball Facts because you just simply don't like Ball Facts and you feel like his opinions are obsolete and he's not factual, he doesn't fact check, this is not the platform where you're going to be throwing stones and hiding your hands, okay? So, and as well as my haters and my trolls, do not go over to his channel and say, well, I don't like Just My Opinion. He's a blowhard. His opinions are whack, and he's not factually correct. Okay, so all I'm going to do is keep it simple, keep it funky, and I really want to address his video. Now, sir, I watch your video from beginning to end, and there's a lot of things I can co-sign to a lot of your viewpoints in your argument. Me and you might see differently on LaVar Ball. Me and you may see differently on Big Baller Brand. Okay. And me and you probably going to see a little bit differently on Kyrie Irving. So let's just address the elephant in the room, Kyrie Irving. Now, sir, that whole video you talked about how Kyrie Irving is basically doing things his way, his body, his choice. Those were your words. And you also talked about how Nike, which I have done a video as well as a live stream addressing the subject, that Nike, yes, they indeed are. This is going to be the last and final year of Kyrie Irving being having a signature shoe with Nike. Now, who knows in the future? Depending on, I think it really is based. This is a performance type of a league. Based on his performance, who knows? Kyrie Irving might tear up the NBA next year, and then Nike's going to have to reevaluate as far as, hey, you think we should renegotiate with and sign a long-term extension? Try to get Kyrie Irving to sign a long-term extension. Then the power will be in his control on whether or not he will re-sign with Nike. Okay, this is a performance-based league, but basically, in a nutshell, you talked about how Nike dropped Kyrie Irving. I noticed in that video, you really didn't address the other issues around Kyrie Irving. Sean Marks, as well as the Brooklyn Nets organization, do not see eye to eye with Kyrie Irving. I feel like Kyrie Irving has burnt his bridge with the Brooklyn Nets, just like he burnt his bridge in the past with the Boston Celtics and Danny Ainge, with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and with LeBron James, to a certain extent. You know, you talked about a lot of things on how Kyrie Irving is trying to do things his way, his body, his choice. You also talked about how when the players and the owners of the NBA did not see eye to eye, Kyrie Irving stood up and said, well, won't we just create our own league? Okay, that was a couple of seasons ago. And during those couple of seasons, did you see any type of footsteps of coming from Kyrie Irving's perspective? He had money, motive, and opportunity to create his own league. You call him a trailblazer. You call him an originator. You also said that the league is trying to silence Kyrie Irving. Everyone thinks Kyrie Irving is crazy. You also reference about when Kyrie Irving said the world was flat. I think that was more of a shock value thing. I don't think Kyrie Irving believes the world is flat. The world is flat. I felt like the reason why he said that was shock value. A lot of people are taking jabs on his IQ, his intelligence. As far as that comment go, I don't think you should illustrate that comment and say, well, this proves without a shadow of a doubt, Kyrie Irving is not that bright. But I do believe that Kyrie Irving feels like he's the smartest man in the room. And depending on what room he's in, he's not even the fifth smartest person in the room. I do feel like Kyrie Irving say some intriguing things. I do like some perspectives of Kyrie Irving. I'm not saying without a shadow of a doubt Kyrie Irving is a dumb individual, but I do feel like Kyrie Irving say things for shock value. Okay, just to have his name in the algorithm of social media. The term everyone's chasing the clout. So you went on a lot of things in your video, and a lot of those things and a lot of those points and a lot of those viewpoints of, well, it's Kyrie Irving's decision, his body, his choice. Let's address the Nike thing. The real reason Nike is no longer going to support Kyrie Irving after they have 1 year remaining with Kyrie Irving. And after that, there is no contract, no extension on the table as far as Kyrie Irving re-signing with Nike. And the real reason of that is it has nothing to do with Kyrie Irving's stance on my body, my choice. The actual reasoning behind Nike's standpoint of it is what Kyrie Irving has illustrated, is what a lot of people that are in the know, that's in the circles of Kyrie Irving, has illustrated as well. It is what a lot of his, a lot of other people in social media, has illustrated this same argument. And even Kyrie Irving is endorsing this argument of, look, basketball isn't a high priority on Kyrie Irving's list. Kyrie Irving has a lot of irons in the fire that he enjoys doing, and basketball just simply isn't one of them. Kyrie Irving has already illustrated this argument. He's endorsing and co-signing this argument. Basketball is not a high priority with Kyrie Irving. Now, I'm pretty sure Ball Facts is going to say, and is going to lay the argument down that, well, yeah, he said that, but in actuality, it's really his body, his choice. He's wanting to do things his way. Okay, if you don't want to believe the man's words coming out of his own mouth that he has already endorsed, he has already co-signed, okay, we can play that game. Let's just look. If you don't want to judge a man by what he says, then let's just judge the man by his actions, okay? Let's just start with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Kyrie Irving was always known in the Cleveland Cavaliers franchise of not only being injury prone, which I feel like you can't judge a man because he's injured sometimes. But Kyrie Irving had certain segments in his career and in his time with the Cleveland Cavaliers where he took time off without notifying the coach, without notifying the owner, without notifying his own agent, without notifying the GM. He has took time off. Kyrie Irving was totally against when in his time with Cleveland, he couldn't really mesh with LeBron James. Him and LeBron James was on two different wavelengths. Now, I do feel like LeBron James was trying to sun him by saying that's, basically replying to Kyrie Irving as a kid, even though he's a grown man. And, I can understand how Kyrie Irving can feel a certain type of way when there's another grown man calling another grown man his son or a kid. But I can understand that. And, Kobe Bryant had issues with Shaq. Shaq would tell Kobe, will say, well, Kobe Bryant is a kid. Kobe Bryant is like a son and a little brother. He would say little brother. And that I can see how that can irritate a young man that's that's trying to create their path, their dynasty. How they can consider that the wrong, will feel a certain kind of way about that. Okay, cool, but at the end of the day, you really didn't make any strides as far as illustrating that to LeBron James and trying to try to work with LeBron James. So, and you also was a little thin-skinned about several reports of the Cleveland Cavaliers trade rumors, that possibility that LeBron James wasn't fully endorsing you. And at that particular time, I feel like the real reason why he wasn't fully endorsing you because even LeBron James saw the beginnings of you. Basketball was just really not a huge priority on your list. So you left Cleveland and LeBron before LeBron and Cleveland traded you, and you wanted to be your own man. You wanted to be your own boss. That was the undertones of a lot of your arguments. And you went to the Boston Celtics. You had Jason Tatum. You had all of those. You had all that talent with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Terry Rozier. You had all of those guys. Okay. Brown. What can Brown do for you? You had all of those guys, and your stay there. You had the same. You was doing the same stuff that you was doing in Cleveland. You was doing in Boston. You would, will be gone for several games, not letting Danny Ainge know what was going on with you. Talking about you had to take some personal time off. Okay, not even scheduling it, not even communicating it with your bosses, not even your agent, the GM, the coach, the ownership. Nobody. You didn't let nobody know. You just left, and then you came back. All right. And during that time, also, the Boston Celtics went all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals without you. Then the next following year, you couldn't even get that team. You was fully healthy. You couldn't even get that team back to the Eastern Conference Finals. So what did you do? And then you also told the fans of Boston that you're investing in the Boston Celtics. And then guess what? The Boston Celtics and Danny Ainge, Jason Tatum, all of those young cats start to see what LeBron was seeing with you. Basketball was not a high priority on your list. All right. So you left Boston, even though you committed to the fans that you was going to stay in Boston, and you went to the Brooklyn Nets with your friend Kevin Durant. And what did you do with the Brooklyn Nets? All right, you did the same. You had the same characteristics that you were showing in your stops in Cleveland as well as Boston. You was illustrating those same bad habits with Brooklyn. Not only that, you made several comments talking about we don't really need a head coach when they signed Steve Nash. Then you said we don't need a front office. We can do the front office work. Okay. They gave up a lot of that talent that they was developing, and they had a coach already in place that was coaching them up with this guy. This coach had lesser talent going further with the Brooklyn Nets than when he had Kyrie and Kevin Durant, and couldn't even get them past into the finals. All right. So y'all took it out on the coach. They fired the coach. They got Steve Nash. They traded a lot of those players and draft picks just to get James Harden, only for James Harden to stay long enough for a cup of coffee till now he gets traded to the Philadelphia 76ers. Okay. Now, you also, during that time, took leave off. You took personal days off, okay? Because you felt like doing it, all right? My body, my choice, okay? Right? Is that the argument that we're going to allude to, all right? And then, when COVID happened, even though everyone has a right to either take the vaccine or not take the vaccine, okay? I feel like every United States citizen has that right, all right? That really, when you chose not to take the vaccine, that really put the Brooklyn Nets behind the 8 ball, because that team was orchestrated and set up with you and Kevin Durant and James Harden. When you was taken out of that piece, it made it a little bit difficult for the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets were not prepared for you to miss a lot of games. Then when the mandate was lifted, you could play. I think you could play away, but you couldn't play home. And then Charles Barkley, nicknamed you half man, half a season. All right, and James Harden started saying, "Look, this is not working. This is not working. Chemistry wise, this is not working. Let me get my tail up out of here." They trade, even though Kevin Durant has issues with James Harden. I have issues with James Harden. Okay. And that team made it. Into the play-in tournament. And when they played Boston, it was a sweep. It was an utter sweep by the same team that you was on. Those guys that you say that you believe that you couldn't win with, the Boston Celtics, are the same team that is still in the playoffs, and they're one win away for representing the East in the NBA Finals. But once again, everyone uses this terminology of my body, my choice, player empowerment. Players should have the right to say and do whatever they want, okay? You should placate to the players. If the player does not like that coach, get rid of the coach. If the player does not like that GM, get rid of the GM. If the player does not like a certain a group of players, get rid of the players. This was the play. Kyrie Irving embodies the player empowerment movement. All right, he's an important cog to this, as well as Kevin Durant and LeBron James, and Kawhi Leonard. I'm just gonna name the heads of state of player empowerment. Okay, guess what? All of those players have in common: the player empowerment movement. Okay, none of them are in the playoffs. None of them couldn't even sniff the playoffs. And none of them are even going to be representing the player power in movement in the NBA Finals. It's a new day. It's a new era. I salute Ja Morant, Luka Doncic. Okay, I salute those cats. All right, that staying with the team, sticking with the teams. This is a totally different day, and it's a new era. You don't have to do Wonder Twin powers activate and create a super team. If you're that guy, and if you're in an organization that's that's a healthy organization, that if you give it enough time, they will draft and select the right players to fit around you, and you can be very dominant in the playoffs. Okay, look at what the Memphis Grizzlies have achieved. You don't think the Memphis Grizzlies are not going to be in the playoffs next year? I think not. Look at what the Dallas Mavericks did. A piece here, a piece there. Luka Doncic work on some of his game. Maybe defensive wise can at least hold his man down for a little bit on the defensive end. Pause. But you don't think the Dallas Mavericks are not going to be even better next year? I think not. Can you say that about the Brooklyn Nets? Can you say that about the Clippers? Can you say that about the Los Angeles Lakers? The player empowerment, the super teams, Wonder Twins, let's activate, let's form our own super team. Those days are behind us. And Kyrie Irving was a full-fledged sponsor of that. Now, let's talk about Kyrie Irving and Lonzo Ball, shall we? Well, Lonzo Ball. You made a reference in your video, and you talked about how, and you also interviewed LaVar Ball, and you played a clip of that video, and you talked about how LaVar Ball talked about how, look, Kyrie Irving, he needs to stop chasing the money and just join Big Baller Brand. I'm gonna give him an ownership deal, an ownership stake in Big Baller Brand. He can be his own boss. He can do whatever he wants to do. Have nothing against that, by the way. But you in your video, you kind of slight people that's taking it the more convenient way, the more popular way. A lot of these big time athletes, they get their shoe deals and their not fashion but sports outerwear deals through the shoe companies, and that's where they make their big money at. Okay, but in your argument, you kind of make it sound like people that want to do it that way, they're sellouts, or people doing it that way, they're closed-minded. Like it's a slight for an athlete to sign with Nike, Reebok, those, the Adidas. But then when you say, players should, should join these smaller corporations like Big Baller Brand. And I don't think you alluded to this in your video, or just creating their own brand. You probably did, but I didn't. When I watched the video, I didn't hear it. But I'm pretty sure in your mind you're thinking, well, these athletes, if they got brand names, if their name's a big brand, they should create their own shoe wear. They should create their own clothing design. Okay, I'm totally for all that, but I also feel like either way is great. It's great. Either way is great. Then you made the comment and you referenced that just because LeBron James signed a $1 billion deal with Nike, he has to close his mouth about certain issues. I don't know if you've been following LeBron James' timeline particularly on Twitter, on Instagram. I don't even know if you have even paid attention to a lot of things LeBron James has talked about and spoken about on and off the court. And I'm not a huge LeBron James fan, by the way. All right. LeBron James, as amazing he is on the court, he's extremely amazing off the court. Social justice issues, LeBron James is on top of those things. Police brutality, LeBron James is on top of those things. All right. Don't make it sound like LeBron James is this square. And since he signed $1 billion deal with Nike, he can't speak his mind or say his piece. Okay. Do not get that twisted, folks. LeBron James has been in front of a lot of issues that's affecting the African-American community, the culture, police brutality, the hip-hop culture, the movement, the black male movement. LeBron James have addressed and attacked and tackled a lot of those issues that a lot of these guys that you claim that are, doing their own thing, my body, my choice, a lot of these guys, like LaVar Ball, Big Baller Brand, LeBron James has spoken more than any of those guys that you are endorsing. Okay, so let's just not sit up here and start, saying things that are not concrete, the truth. Okay, they're not legit. All right, and once again, I'm not a huge LeBron James fan. Okay. I don't hate the man, but at the same time, the man has done a lot on and off the court. And for us to sit up here and say he's a puppet for Nike is kind of it's kind of disingenuous. Okay, I don't know if you were saying that to get clicks or you really do feel that way. I don't know, but LeBron is not a puppet for Nike, basically. And I used to hear that same argument about Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan spoke his mind on a lot of things. Now, I feel like LeBron James has spoken more than Michael Jordan, has spoken more than Michael Jordan. I have to, yeah. But Michael Jordan, if there was certain, I felt like Michael Jordan only spoke about things that either he endorses or things that he despises in. Okay, that affects him personally. All right, but I feel like LeBron James speaks in volume about things that either affects him or doesn't affect him. And I give him huge kudos for that, okay? I don't think a lot of people give him kudos for that. A lot of people have the same mindset as you is, well, LeBron James is just this big puppet because he signed $1 billion deal with Nike. Now, it's further from the truth. But let's talk about Big Baller Brand. And then, look, before we talk about Big Baller Brand, look, if an athlete if a top level athlete that's going into the draft, and it doesn't matter if it's the NFL, the NBA, or Major League Baseball, tennis, golf, whatever, all right? And they get opportunities to sponsor a shoe as well as a clothing line from like Nike, Adidas, Reebok, Puma, whatever. But they're also getting an endorsement by Big Baller Brand, or someone in their entourage is trying to let them just do their own thing. I feel like if your name is, if you have a big name and your name is your brand, you should go whatever way you want to go. All right. One way is not wrong. It's not wrong. One way is not different than the other way. If you feel like you want to do your own thing, or if you want to sign with Big Baller Brand, okay, cool. Okay. But at the same time, if you want to sign with Nike, or Reebok or Adidas, that's cool as well. You know what? It seems like when you want to sign with the big franchises, okay, people have this mindset of you're a corporate slave, or you have a closed mind, or you just working for the man, or you just a puppet for those big time franchises and corporations, okay? But then we start to salute the ones that want to do it their way. They want to have their own shoe brand. They want to create their own shoe, or they want to sign with a company like Big Baller Brand. We want to salute them. We put them on a pedestal, a pedestal. But the people that want to do it the more convenient way, we call them sellouts. Okay, one way isn't different than the other way. That's the only thing I want to say on that. Okay, uh, one way isn't the only solution. There's multitudes of ways to get your paper and to get your cheddar and build your brand. Okay, now let's talk about the conversation that you had, your interview you had with LaVar Ball, and trying to recruit Kyrie Irving to his big baller brand. Have no issues with that. If that's where Kyrie Irving wants to go, that's where ultimately he wants to go. There's no right or wrong way if he wants to do that. However, sir, I look at it like this. You made a comment and you alluded to, people are always talking about how poor quality the shoes were, the big baller brand shoes, how poor of quality they were. Okay. And you make it sound like it's a slight. Okay. And then you made a reference of an analogy of, well, people don't realize the first Jordan shoe probably wasn't that comfortable. Probably was poorly designed. Okay. So let me tell you something. And when people talk that way, and look, I'm not taking no slights at you. I'm not beefing with you or anything like that. But when I hear people talk that way, you're pretty much telling me you never wore or bought the big baller brand shoes. Well, more notably the Lonzo Ball shoes, and you didn't buy the first Jordan. I bought both of those shoes, sir. I bought both of those shoes. I bought the first Jordans, and I waited at this shoe store to get them. I was sitting in line waiting for them, and I also purchased online the Alonzo Ball version. That was like I'd say about 4 years ago when he was a member of the Los Angeles Lakers. I think it was 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know. And I can tell, sir, the first Jordans, they felt pretty decent. They weren't the best designed shoe, but I felt like I got my money's worth. And at that time, that was the era of the $100 shoes. That was the era of the $100 shoes. I felt like I got a steal with my first Jordans, even though I feel like my first Jordans were not the best Jordans. I felt like later on in the evolution of Air Jordans, they got extremely better and they got extremely comfortable, and they got better with the designs and things of that nature. All right. I also got the first pair of Barclays, and the Barclays were pretty comfortable as well. But the first pair of Jordans was pretty comfortable. If I compare the first Jordans to the Jordans of today, I'm pretty sure the Jordans of today are going to be a whole lot comfortable than the first pair of Jordans. Sir, I also had the Alonzo Ball shoes, and they were poorly constructed. Comfortable wise, it was all right. Okay, so it was the same type of comfort level experience I've witnessed and seen with with shoes like when I was a kid, there used to be a store called Payless, and they used to have these shoes there. The same type of comfortability that you get from Walmart. If you get some tennis shoes from Walmart, or I have more of those type of, or Skechers, something like that. It was in that realm of comfort, but you get what you pay for when you buy cheap shoes like that. But when you buy the the baller shoes, you're expecting a different type of comfort than, but the same type of comfort I got from those Lonzo Ball shoes, I experienced that type of comfort from other shoes that was much more cheaper than the big baller brand shoes. Now, I'm not trying to diss the shoes. I'm just telling you what it is. Okay, I'm not gonna sit up here and sugarcoat and lie about it. Design wise, it wasn't the best design, but it was all right. And even Alonzo Ball talked in several articles wearing those shoes when he was a member of the Los Angeles Lakers, as well as a member of the New Orleans Pelicans. He expressed his issues about the shoes, like the shoes would self-destruct on him on every single game, and they wasn't the most comfortable shoe. And he also alluded to he probably had several nagging injuries because of wearing those shoes. Okay. And now Lonzo Ball doesn't even rep those shoes. He's back. He went back to Nike. I mean, he signed a deal with Nike, I believe. But we have to, and I feel like we do this a lot in our own community, the African American community. Okay. We love, okay, look, I love to see us as African Americans being entrepreneurs, being our own boss. Okay. I love to see that. Okay. Nothing makes me more happier than each and every day the possibility of someone starting a business and they're African American or they're any other nationality, male or female, young or old. Every day, someone's creating a new IP or a new product that they're bringing to the masses for us to purchase as consumers. I fully love that. Okay, love it. But we also have to be we also have to put ourselves on notice and on watch, and it's all about perspective. All right. And even though I love that, there was this young lady that I was at work. She was talking about she's starting her own makeup line. She's got like a lip gloss line, and then she showed me her website, and she also showed me the different women that purchased her product. She had photos of them, and I like that. I like when we as African Americans, more so in my community. I love it in other communities, but I extremely and passionate love it as African Americans. We're doing our own thing. We're making our own calls. Okay. I love all that. Okay. But we also have to put perspective and be truthful sometimes. All right. Even though there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there, some of the products out there are not that great. Okay. And we just can't give them a pass because of, they're one of us, or, they're just starting. And you made the analogy of, well, you have to understand when Nike and Reebok and Jordans, when Jordans came out, they didn't have the best quality. Okay. Nobody wasn't demanding the best quality, but I feel like people validate those IPs by buying it, by the consumers buying it. Okay. You have to have some type of quality in your product. I'm not saying you have to have the very best of the best quality in your product when you first come out, but you have to be realistic and mindful that you want to deliver the best product that you can afford, that you have knowledge in. And then every year you make it better and better. Okay. And unfortunately, those shoes were not constructed with the best quality. Those shoes wasn't very comfortable. And I felt like those shoes were overpriced. If which he's doing it now, but if he had a do-over, if he can go back in the time machine, hop into the DeLorean and go back into the future, I believe LaVar Ball would 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 lower the price on those shoes. I think that would have been best for him to do. A lot of people don't realize Shaquille O'Neal made some shoes that was going straight to Walmart and Target. And hold on one second. His shoes went to Walmart and Target and things of that nature and made a fortune. They were affordable shoes. They wasn't the best comfortable shoe, but they had some type of comfort in them. They wasn't the best design shoe. They were just basic shoes. And Shaquille O'Neal made a fortune off those shoes. All right. Those shoes were less than $20. And he really took it from the model of Akeem Olajuwon. Akeem Olajuwon didn't sign a big deal with, well, in his prime he probably did, but later on in his no. He wanted affordable shoes on the market and made a fortune creating, making, and selling affordable shoes. A lot of people in it are not familiar with history. A lot of people just experience history of what they know. A lot of people feel like Lonzo Ball is a pioneer at this. No, there have been other athletes, other stars, other influencers in the 70s, 80s, and yes, even the 90s that was doing this on their own. Okay. So to sit up there, and say that he's a trailblazer is kind of laughable. Okay. But we have to judge things. We have to judge things accordingly. All right. And unfortunately, those shoes were not the very best shoes. Now, if he would have sold those shoes a lot cheaper, he would have sold more product and still and would have made a fortune off those shoes, similar to Akeem Olajuwon and Shaquille O'Neal. Okay. Birdman had shoes, had lugs as a sponsor. Okay. You know, Master P had his own shoe. Okay. He had his official shoe. I think he had a shoe deal with a Reebok, but then he sold some cheaper shoes for affordable, for people that can afford them. Okay. So there have been a lot of people through the test of time that has been there and done that. Okay. And I felt like LaVar Ball set the bar way too high for his original plans on those shoes. And if he had to redo it over again, he probably would have sold those shoes, lesser than what he sold them. And that's why a lot of people were very critical on those shoes, because those shoes were not cheap shoes. Those are some expensive shoes in a lot of households. If you got a family of 5 and 2 of them want those shoes were not cheap. Were not any stretch cheap. Luckily for me, I just bought a pair of shoes for myself because I wanted to support I wanted to support him. I also wanted to check out the shoe. And I have heard a lot of horror stories of people ordering those shoes but didn't get their shoes. Okay, I don't know if that's true or not, but there's been a lot of people with several videos and on social media talking about those shoes. And it just seems like to me, when you judge something accordingly, people feel like you're a sellout, or people feel like, are you trying to stop the movement? You're trying to stop his hustle. You're trying to stop his grind. No, we're going to judge his shoes accordingly like we judge everybody else's shoes. Why should he have a different standard than anyone else that's in the shoe game? All right. At the end of the day, we're all consumers, right? We should judge the products that we buy accordingly. It'd be different if we was given these shoes. But a lot of people put their hard-earned money into these shoes. All right. So a lot of stuff that you were saying in your video, we'll have to agree to disagree. Okay. But I felt like a lot of it is, you try to paint the canvas of it's Kyrie against the world when it's really Kyrie against Kyrie. There's a reason why Nike is talking about, well, we're just going to let him finish his last year of his contract, and then hopefully we can go back to the negotiation table. They're putting all the onus on Kyrie Irving. It's up to Kyrie Irving on whether or not he gets another endorsement deal with Nike or with any company. It's based on his performance. Okay. It's up to Kyrie Irving if he wants a max contract. Everyone is giving Kyrie Irving the floor. Everyone has given Kyrie Irving the opportunity to flourish. This is what Kyrie Irving wanted, right? This is what Kyrie Irving wanted, right? Kyrie Irving, even illustrated coming out of his own mouth that basketball isn't a high priority for Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving got a lot of other irons in the stove that he's more interested in than basketball. So, that's all I got for that. I'm gonna do some quick news bits. Golden State Warriors beat the Dallas Mavericks. No one didn't expect anything different. And Golden State is going to represent the West in the NBA Finals. And the other series in the East, it could be done tonight. Between Miami and Boston. A lot of people are going towards Boston. They feel like Boston is going to represent the East. And isn't it funny and isn't it ironic? The final the final four teams: the Dallas Mavericks, the Golden State Warriors, the Miami Heat, and the Boston Celtics. They all have something in common, and they all kind of tied together. The Dallas Mavericks beat LeBron James' Heels when he was a member of the Miami Heat. The Golden State Warriors beat LeBron James and Kyrie Irving when they had KD. LeBron James was a member of the Miami Heat, and Kyrie Irving was a member of the Boston Celtics. Just think about that for a second. So all of those final four teams have something in common. They're all tied together, and that's why they're tied together. Okay. And other bites in the NBA circle. Earvin Magic Johnson is no longer working for ESPN. Surprise, surprise. Who would have thunk it? Who wouldn't expected it? He's Magic Johnson has always been known for this. He would always want to, and I hate to say it, the way I'm about to say it is going to sound like I'm digging into Earvin Magic Johnson, but Earvin Magic Johnson has a tendency of quitting, want to start things, but quit at those things, and doesn't even complete at least a year doing those things. Remember, he wanted to be the coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. Look how long that lasted. He wanted to have some say-so in the Lakers organization. He wanted to be a GM. Now, I do feel like he stayed on that job a little bit longer. And he left that job because he said, quote, he wanted to have his freedom to go on Twitter and talk to other NBA stars and things of that nature, which is fine. So he got a TV deal with ESPN to do NBA Countdown. He appeared in one show and been in and out of ESPN, quit that. And I get the sneaking suspicion he has the itch again to go back into basketball. It would not surprise me if Magic finds his way back to the Los Angeles Lakers and him and Jeannie are cooking in the lab. And I told you guys, and I've done this, and I've done live streams, I have already done videos that the Los Angeles Lakers are they're in rebuilding mode. They push the red panic button. And like I said in my last video yesterday, do you want to push that panic button 2 years early or 2 years late? And I feel like Jeannie, Rob Pelinka is pushing the panic red button. They're already in rebuilding mode. You only got LeBron for one more year. He's not interested in re-signing with you guys. You got Anthony Davis, who's shown that he's always going to be consistently injured every season. Surprise, surprise, que sera, sera. And you don't really have nothing else. All right. So they are in full rebuilding mode. And I think they have already started at the end of this season. And they're finding no takers for Russell Westbrook. Even with a draft pick, people are still not enticed to pick up Russell Westbrook. Which, by the way, all you Laker fans that had the Los Angeles Lakers, they have so many ways to make that team better for next year, okay? They got Russell Westbrook. There's a multitude on top of a multitude of teams that want Russell Westbrook's final year so they can dump his salary and have all that money on their salary cap for next season. There's no takers for Russell Westbrook as a talent, as a player, for his contract. You're even putting a draft pick on top of that ugly mess, and people still don't want it. All right. So where are those Russell? I mean, where are those Laker fans that's saying that they're going to be back better than ever? In all actuality, they're going to keep the same team that they got last year. Okay, with some different pieces on 1-year deals. Okay, so that's all the tidbits on the NBA. Normally this time I would go into the comment section. There are no comments. Oh, and I forgot to mention this. I should have mentioned this. You know what? I think I mentioned it in the beginning of this live stream. So to add subscribers, and I want my subscribers to be allowed to speak and say their piece. I set up different features on my channel moving forward. You have to be already subscribed if you want to comment. If you are new, which more than likely, these are going to be the 3 type of people that are new to my channel that want to comment. Okay, or 4 types of people. New subscribers that's interested in the channel. Okay, I love them. I'll take them every day, all day, twice on Sunday. You have trolls, okay? Then you have haters that either hate me or hate the subject matter or hate somebody else's channel. You got them. And then you got these bots that do the websites, the adult websites and things of that nature. All 4 of those people, what they're gonna all have in common is if you haven't subscribed to me and you haven't watched 60 seconds of any of my videos, then you're not gonna get the ability to comment. And I feel like every content provider should do that. And I feel like it will be somewhat a perfect world on YouTube if all content providers had, would set their features on. Well, I feel like my subscribers should comment. It'll be a perfect world, and it will eliminate so many things on YouTube. Okay, so yeah, I think I mentioned it early, but if I didn't, it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm pretty sure, and that's why I've been getting. I like during this whole live stream, I had like 5 people, and then I had went up to 5. Then it went back down to 3. So I guess 2 of those people were either bots or somebody that wanted to troll or whatnot. They got into the video and they noticed during in the video they couldn't comment, so they left. And then it went from 3 to 2, and now I don't have any. But that's fine. A lot of people listen to my live stream when it's on rerun instead of actually being live, and that's fine as well. But yeah, that's all I got. And I do apologize for people that were consistently waiting, patiently waiting for me to do Just My Opinion podcast. I think this is episode 51 or 52. I'm not 100% sure. But I do apologize. I normally have these things set up on Tuesday, but this week was kind of different for me to do it, and I forgot to put this in the playlist. But later on today, I would go ahead and put it in the playlist, as well as I might move the needle as far as 60 seconds. If you're new, I'm gonna probably put in 5 minutes. That'll be later on this evening. I want everybody, because I want everyone to get the opportunity. I mean, if you can't listen to a video for 60 seconds to wait and then comment, then there's something extremely wrong with you. You really are not even commenting on the subject matter. You're just commenting on something. You just commenting on what I said 30 seconds ago, and you're not putting in or fitting in the rest of the video. But go to Ball Facts channel. I like his channel, and like I said, I ran across his channel. I was just I wasn't even a subscriber to his channel when I turned on my YouTube channel. His video was already there for recommended, so I clicked to it and I listened to it, and there was a lot of things. And once again, I don't want people to get it confused and twisted. I have no hate for Ball Facts. I'm not saying his video was a 100% total lie, but what I am saying is I just don't see eye to eye to his viewpoints, and I feel like he blemished some things here and there. But we got to stop. The only way you can do good for yourself is to go out on your own and be an entrepreneur. Okay, well, there's plenty of people out there who's doing far better and far good doing it the traditional way. There are many people out there that have endorsement deals that are doing better, that's doing good. So we should salute those individuals, saying, way to go. We should champion those individuals. All right. But there are some people out there that are entrepreneurs that want to do it the independent way. And they're doing very well, and they're doing extremely good. We can't have this mindset, well, one way is the only way. There are multiple ways to get to the bag, and there are multiple ways to own your own franchise. You can get to the bag and still be in the process of making your own franchise. This analogy that you can't walk and chew gum at the same time is just not true. You can have a shoe deal with Nike and still have your own enterprise, your own brand. You can either, see if Nike wants a share in the stake of your own company or finance your own company, your own brand, or you could be done with that shoe deal with Nike and say, okay, I want to do it my way. So there's multitude on top of multitude, just like if you want to be independent and want to do your own thing, you can do that as well too. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, you got to strike while the iron's hot, man, because you got to realize, when you get that shoe deal, you just starting your prime, and you're probably going to be in that shoe deal until you're out of your prime. Well, if you're good in business, it doesn't matter athletic wise if you're in or out of your prime. If you got good business sense, if you got a good business IQ, a good business mindset, none of that stuff doesn't matter. If you got fans that really F with you, that really support everything that you do, then they would support you to the moon and back. So yeah, we got to get out of that mindset. But anyway, I'm up out of here, guys. I will see you guys next week. Be sure to check out the videos I uploaded yesterday, and I'm gonna try to upload another video later on today or tomorrow. I'll talk to you guys later. Deuces.